Thanks for joining us for another episode of Rockland Famous, the podcast. Today, I am joined by Ellen DiVietro. I've known Ellen for many years, and somehow we're just like right in time. We just look timeless at all times of the day. Tastefully Simple, TS by EllenDV.com. Ellen is a master at making your mealtime literally tastefully simple. And Ellen, thanks for being here today. I've used your materials. I signed up for your program. You still send us some cooking tips, especially the thing with the crock pot, because I love using the crock pot. It's just so convenient. But there's so much more to what you do. And we've been talking about this for a while. Thank you for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. No, this is always great to get together with you. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw each other over at the business meeting today at 7:30 in the morning. And I saw you up at the front of the table. It was like, you know what? It's kind of like a shining light with the smile, because you always come with a smile. And I mean, we meet many people, and sometimes it's a little tougher. The stuff we do is like technology, but the stuff that you do is really helping people to enjoy their meals, their dinners, their lunches. How did you get started in this? There's a little bit of there's a lot of a personal component to this. Uh, Please go ahead.
Well, food has always been a thing of mine. When I first got married 37 years ago, Peter and I used to always love entertaining. So for me, it was always, I loved having people over and just loved playing with food. And I used to have 84 cookbooks, 84 cookbooks. And I used to have one loose leaf binder that was an index to all my favorite recipes and all the cookbooks that they were in.
Mhm.
So 84 cookbooks, entire shelves. And I loved it. And then when my son was born 26 years ago with food allergies and really allergies to a lot of things, it's like everything had to change.
Mhm.
We had to start paying attention differently because, for me, cooking 4 different meals for different people for dinner was kind of crazy based on what I ate, what my husband ate, what my daughter ate, and then for Jonathan.
Yep.
So it's crazy. So I always paid attention to food and, just having to do things along the lines of, allergens. And I left my full-time crazy retail buying career 24 years ago because I realized I couldn't continue to work full-time and get allergies figured out. So,
Yep.
when you say there's a personal component here. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of reasons why, the food attraction and necessity. And through the years, I was using products from the company that I represent. And I just found that I could create those simple meals, super simple meals,
Mhm.
using these things that everybody in my family could eat. So now I get to make like one meal instead of 4 different ones because everybody can eat it. And I started like coming across a lot of other people that had, dietary concerns or food allergies. And, how many times does somebody come to me and say, my doctor says I have something, or I'm pre-diabetic or whatever, but they're not given enough guidance. So I found myself going and get a health coach certification because I figured people are asking me these things anyway, that I might as well just get more information. So I use my love of the products that I represent. So yes, I sell products and people purchase them from me, but they get a lot more than just, here, buy my stuff. One of my clients had said to me a few years ago, she said, Ellen, you don't sell stuff. You are changing lifestyles.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
So, so people can get, yes, they can get their seasonings, their sauces, their recipes, their simple instructions, and they can just go ahead and do it on their own and they're fine. And then there are some people that want to do food tasting parties with me or get together and meal prep together, or they want like talks in their offices on, how to eat healthier, how to save money, how to save time, and how to be sane with their
Oh, yeah.
with their
Absolutely.
mealtime.
While trying to handle all the busy stuff that we all go through
Yeah.
through the day, and trying to be able to plan ahead enough to be able to make those meals for the family. I mean, it matters. It really does. Right here is an example of what you sent. I think it was about 2 weeks ago to us. And these are just really down to earth steps that I'd say we can all handle. but just plainly explained. And sometimes it's tough, because we're all doing different things during the day. And then the thing that I got most excited about was this one, Ellen, the crock pot component.
Yeah.
Because I am, we just moved into a home about a year and a half ago, and just being able to take the right ingredients, put them in the crock pot early on in the day, and dinner's ready to go at the right time.
Yeah. And then the things that I sent you, I also sent you a variety of soups that you could make.
Mm,
So you could take, it was on the first sheet that you showed. I
oops,
think it's
yeah.
number 10, number 9, and it just shows that you could take different proteins
Hmm.
and add different veggies to it, and you can actually create a soup just by adding some flavor. I think a
Yeah.
little further down, I think.
And I think, when I signed up for your program, I think it was about 2 years ago, give or take. But and especially the meal kit that you initially sent, it's chock full of different spices. And there's some ones that I wasn't sure what it was, but the title of it was fairly descriptive. Onion, onion. It's like this is for onion like spicing, and so it's very, for a person like me, I need very clear steps for cooking because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So it's very much appreciated that everything stands out well when you send it.
It's funny that I'm finding that more men are cooking. More
Oh yeah.
men are, they're wanting to help out at home, or they're by themselves and they want to eat. So they're just finding these simple recipes. There's one of my clients, he and his wife were due to have a baby. And I was talking with him and he's telling me all these things that they're doing and these classes that they're taking and just all this information that they're getting in preparation for their new family. And I said, after listening to all this, I was like, oh my goodness, it was so great that they were taking all this action. And then I said to him, I said, so what are you doing about food? And he goes, what? I said, meals. Like,
That small detail.
and he said, oh my goodness, like we didn't think of this. And I said, well, can I show something to you? And he said, yes, please. So I showed him the recipe booklet for one of the meal kits, the similar one that I had sent to you, except I had sent him one for grilling. And he said, okay, now what do I do with this? I said, well, we can order your kit for you, which is all non-perishable things. So it's not meat and veggies. We just send the seasonings and sauces and the
Yeah,
recipes. So I told him, I said, I will even come to your house for you as a gift from me to show you how to even like prep some of these things for the freezer.
that's
So
cool.
how to take, your chicken or your steak and season it up, wrap it up really well, put it in the freezer. So all you need to do is pull it out, defrost it, and cook it. Genius, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, well, he got the kit and his wife had the baby early.
Ah,
Like, oops. But to
and
just
now he has to cook. It's not like
but
I
just to
want to cook or I'm planning to cook. Now he has to cook.
cool thing is, no, we did not get together to do meal prep, which is something I do in groups. I get friends together and we prep meals for the freezer. Like 30 minutes, we've got 5 entrees for the freezer. But he's cooking himself. He's using the seasonings. He's making just all these great things. He's texting me pictures of what he's doing. I love getting texts from my clients just showing me what they're cooking up. And he said to me in these words, I'm scoring brownie points with my wife because I'm getting all this cooking done.
As I'm learning
And
as a newly married man, brownie points are very important. Very
newly
important.
newly married, new baby, right? So I just thought it was like the best thing. I told him he's such a poster child for men doing cooking.
Oh yeah.
The new dad helping out.
Yeah, and I mean, just obviously, I have some experience with this too. So my wife is, she's a busy professional as well. She's at a local library, and she manages a lot of details.
Mhm.
So she's home sometimes 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. For
Wow.
the last several years, I work from home. We got a team that works remotely and everything, so it works out good. But I'm when she comes home, I mean, I know she's not going to have the the desire to cook anything. I mean, she still does sometimes, and I appreciate it. But so I had to like I don't know how to free. I burn water, so I had to put together some really simple things, and really the first thing that I drew from was watching my mom when she cooked in the kitchen. So I tried to pick up from that. Um, and what I found out is that the spices make so much of a difference, even in just, I guess, the base flavors of various things. We talk about soups and things like that. Are there any sort of spices, obviously your salt, pepper, but do you personally have any go-tos when you're whipping something up in the kitchen?
Certainly is not salt and pepper.
Salt, as little salt as possible, right?
Yeah, but I have, my favorite Tastefully Simple seasonings that we've been using for 24 years. And, it is the onion that you mentioned and the garlic. Um, there's a seasoned salt, which is like absolutely amazingly crazy because the seasoned salt, the first time I used that at home, I took a London broil and I sprinkled seasoned salt on both sides of the London broil. I don't grill. My husband is the king of the grill. I'm not. So I cooked this London broil stovetop just using the seasoned salt. And my husband tasted it and he goes, "Holy cow, you can cook for me anytime, honey. Like this tastes like it's been like marinated forever." And I said, "Yeah, I'll continue to cook for you for the next 25 years. It's okay."
Did you did
But
he
it
did he
was just
really? But did he really say "Holy cow"? Did he? I'm sorry. We know each other for a while, so I can zing a little bit. I'm not as good as Barry with this, but yes, uh, inside joke on that. But it's always good to bring in a little Phil Rizzuto. But he was generally happy with
anyway.
what you created.
But but the basic seasonings, there's also a rustic herb seasoning that's a
Yes, I
favorite.
love that one.
The rustic herb seasoning has like what drew me to it was it has all those flavors of a Thanksgiving turkey. Like 10 different seasonings that you would use to season a Thanksgiving turkey, and like that's the only seasoning you need. So we
Mhm.
absolutely love it here for like chicken, potatoes, green beans, leg of lamb, even that's like the only seasoning that you need for that. So just these great flavors. I could go on for another 15 minutes or an hour about all the favorite seasonings. There's
Yeah.
about a dozen of them that are the favorites in this household. And those are the ones that are all pretty much, they're all free of gluten, free of dairy. I think
Yeah, that's
one of them has
important.
a tiny bit of sugar. And, all the ingredients are natural ingredients, which is something that's important to us here. And it's important to a lot of other people too.
Yeah, and I have a few family members that are gluten sensitive. I'm not sure if I'm gluten sensitive, but I hopped on and I bought gluten-free pasta. So yeah, I like it. Works. And definitely those spices. And I do have some spices to display on the screen. And here's a few examples. So we have the onion seasoning. Just bring this up on the screen. So onion seasoning. This is one of my go-tos. We have Fiesta Party seasoning. All right, as a Colombian, I definitely appreciate any sort of Latin American flair. And of course, for the barbecue, ultimate steak seasoning. I love this one. So big thumbs up on it. Um, so how would someone get started? You offer meal kits. There's a whole variety of ways where people can connect with you, but tell us a little bit about the meal kits, examples, and things.
Okay. So, anybody can pop on my website. This is not we're not a subscription program. You don't need to like pay an annual fee or anything like that to associate with me or to be part of Tastefully Simple. There are people that connect with me that yes, they want to earn additional income. They want a side business. So yes, I get to help people do that. Um, People can just go on my website and purchase things.
Yeah.
In addition to popping on the website and purchasing things, yes, I do want to tell you about meal kits. I do get people together for 24 years in business. I've been getting people together for real life food tastings, or getting together to prep some meals for the freezer, fundraisers, talks in offices, booths at street fairs for community outreach. And people come to me for their favorite seasonings, a la the ones you mentioned. Meal kits that you just showed. Meal kits is something that we started a few years ago. And what we found with that is they help people save money. They help people save time and sanity. Because you mentioned about your wife coming home, right, late in the day. There's no brain power at the end of the day to think about
Yeah,
what to
yeah.
cook,
It's all left
right?
at the office. It just
And
is.
you're too tired. So with saving your sanity, when you have a plan, and when you know what you're going to have for dinner,
Hmm.
like isn't that a little saner than sitting there at 4:30, 5 o'clock saying, oh, are we going to have breakfast for dinner again?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if I, and I'm definitely not perfect. I don't bat 1,000, but if I am able to take a break like middle of the way through the day, like 1, 2 o'clock, I mentioned the slow cooker, crock
Yeah,
pot. If I get like the basic elements in the crock pot early on, and then I could layer it with the necessities and the seasonings. Oh, actually, I have a specific question for you, and obviously as little salt as possible. But I, from what I've researched, salt should come in at the ends, but the seasonings should come in toward the beginning. Is that the right formula, or do you have any advice on that?
yeah. If you're just gonna sprinkle like table salt
Yeah,
on a recipe, okay, just don't.
I try not to. Yeah, exactly. Like if any, and I guess it's different for various. I'm not a good chef cook, but I try to do as little salt as possible, and if any, just to taste the
Yeah,
sauce or the soup, like the tail end, and as little as
yeah,
possible.
yeah. But so many people have found that when you're using my seasonings, you don't ever need to add salt and
Hmm.
pepper because everything that we have is so flavorful
Hmm.
that you don't need to add anything.
Yeah.
But if you're going to add a little sprinkle of salt or something, just add it at the very end when you're done cooking. Taste it first.
Yeah.
Like some people sprinkle salt without even thinking, and then they tend to over flavor things. So salt is something that you can definitely add to the end. When you're cooking with seasonings like Tastefully Simple seasonings, then you can add them at the beginning. You can cook it with it,
Hmm.
especially if there are things that you've prepped for the freezer ahead of time. So you take your chicken, you're going to season it up, a little bit of oil, olive oil or avocado oil, and add your seasoning, and you're going to smush it. You
Hmm.
have it in your freezer bag or container, flatten it out, and then freeze it. So then it's marinating when it's in the process of freezing, and then it's marinating when it's in the process of defrosting. So it's chock full of flavor that way. So no other flavor is needed. Oh, I have a great tip for tenderizing your food too. You want to
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
about tenderizing your meat? Okay. So if you're going to prep something for the freezer, or if you're going to put it in, let's say, a plastic bag or whatever kind of bag you use, the silicone reusable bags, whichever. So you put your meat there with your little bit of oil and your seasoning, put it in the bag, and then punch it. Punch it. You are relieving stress and you're tenderizing your meat, whether that's a London broil or chicken breast, right? It's a fun way to tenderize. It's like frustration, get it out.
It's called the Rocky Balboa method
Tastes
of
great.
cooking. Adrian, I made dinner.
It really ends up tasting great that way. And it's very simple.
Nice.
So yeah, seasoning things up. So with our meal kits, it's like, yeah, people are finding them to be like that. They can go on the website, they can just look up meal kits and see the
Hmm.
variety of kits. Just click one, your order's done.
Yeah,
So you
absolutely.
don't have to think about, do I want this seasoning and this seasoning? Because too many choices is not good.
Yeah, amen. Amen.
Yeah.
And that's
So
where you
just,
come into the equation, because you can
yes,
help people identify what the exact thing they need is. And again,
yes.
so important. So important.
Yeah,
Ellen,
and I do
I'm
and I
sorry, go
do
ahead.
love chatting. No, I love chatting with people because if they have like certain certain proteins that maybe their family doesn't eat, or more things that they do eat, then you know what, the meals pretty much are family friendly, and I get to guide them a little bit and help them select a meal kit that's going to work for them, or whether it's individual seasonings that they want to get, and then they have access to all the recipes on my website too.
Mm.
So fun things I get to do. It's like, I don't know, every day is different for me. Every day is a lot of fun. And there's never a way to get bored with doing this as a job.
Yeah, and I'm a little jealous because again, we do the technology thing, and it's all well and good, and I'm very thankful for that. But I do get a little bit of a calming, relaxing feeling when I'm creating very simple recipes, and I think your guidance has helped to make those recipes a lot more tastefully simple. Not to, and I always we're at the meetings every 2 weeks over at Rockland Business Exchange. So always great to hear your insight and your wisdom on how to cook better meals.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, and see the meals behind me?
Yeah, what are those?
That's not takeout. That's not fast food. Well, I should say that is fast food that you get to prepare. So all these things are quick, simple meals that I've whipped up. And I did it this way just to kind of be, a little silly, saying, you know what, that could be takeout, but that's
silly.
your.
It's like that cappuccino commercial where someone goes into the next room and they use certain preps in order to create like the perfect cappuccino, and then they go back out and you're like, oh my goodness, you've crafted this, and how could you? It's like, I had some help. So
That's it.
Ellen, thanks for being on the show today for Rockland Famous. And you can catch Ellen at tsbyellendv.com. Could also give her a call. If I could bring your phone number out here, it's 845-893-7567. And we look forward to seeing you in the coming weeks. Give Ellen a call, and we'll see you next time for Rockland Famous, the podcast. Take care, everyone.